Welcome, folks, legends, folk legends, heroes, heroines, tweeners, and villains. I appreciate that you're here and hope that you get something from the video other than a migraine. I apologize if my energy's a little bit lower. I started in editing a video of predictions I'd already done a test recording, and then when I went into the real recording, there was nothing but loud hissing and popping over the audio, so the latest in a few blows. Life sucks sometimes, but that does not impede our need to get through it or our ability to do so. So, I'm Casualeann. If this is your first time on the Casualeann, that wrestling fan channel, I'd like to thank you, along with everyone else, for coming along with me. Please give this video a like, comment on it, share it, subscribe to the Casualeann, that wrestling fan channel, and enable notifications so that you know when new videos come out. Look around the channel, have a look at the content. I'm particularly proud of my 5 ways WWE ruined Big E's career. Some of it has been cut out now by WWE, but if you become a Patreon backer, you can see that video now in its entirety. There is also the Women's Tag Team Championship Tournament video. Very interesting now, considering who became the first champions after Sasha and Naomi left. If your box of tacks are open, your steel chairs are closed, kendo sticks found, and straps are properly leathered, whatever they do with straps, join me with Extreme Rules 2022 predictions. Okay, let me slap myself a little bit. So first in our barbarous lineup is Ronda Rousey versus Smackdown Women's Champion Liv Morgan in an Extreme Rules match for the Smackdown Women's Championship. This has been a rivalry about Ronda reminding us of how Liv shouldn't be champion and Liv trying to convince us that she should. Well, miss, you needn't convince me, because I, for one, don't believe in just one entire division hinging on a singular talent. And despite Liv's booking, she has carried the title with pride. And Trips has managed to sneak in some resourcefulness to Liv's character to give her a sort of alternative sense of legitimacy. But has it been enough? The fans aren't nearly as hot on a Liv Morgan championship reign as they were on a Liv Morgan championship cash-in. But with the division becoming deeper and Triple H not wanting to blow up the building for the sake of a cornerstone, particularly when it's a building he cares about, I think he's going to have Liv Morgan hold on to it a little bit longer. That said, as much as I'd like for it to be, I don't think the win will be clean. If it is, it'll have to involve Morgan outwitting Ronda somehow, or doing something so cold and dastardly that it just throws Ronda out of whack. Maybe even turns Morgan into a heel. Sorry about the dogs fighting next door. It's a carnival of horrors today. If it were still Attitude Era or a little bit earlier or a little bit after, I'd say she could smash a fake Ronda baby with a chair and a Snitsky-esque pearl clutcher. That would be just a little more silly than anything else. But more likely, either Charlotte Flair or Shayna Baszler, wanting to prove she is still a killer, will interfere on Morgan's behalf to become Rousey's next feud, and that's how Liv Morgan retains. Next, we have the Rated R Superstar Edge versus Finn Balor in an I Quit match. Have I mentioned how much I love the fact that stipulations have returned? Remember how last year, literally the only stip match was Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor? Yuck. But every single match on this card has a different extreme stipulation, just as it should be. Just needed to point that out. So, Edge versus Judgment Day, part 338. By the way, how many appeals did the Judgment Day have left? I mean, we've got to be getting close. We've got to be approaching the Wrestling Supreme Court, or the Supreme Court of Wrestling by now, whatever you call it. Anyway, as I've indicated in previous streams, Edge needs to keep his clout But Finn also needs the win. So what do? There are reports that Finn is on the cusp of a major push. And let's face it, what's the biggest shot in the sling-bladed arm than a win against one of the biggest stars in the business? The stipulation gives the perfect booking out to make sure that no one's hurt, which is for either Ray, Beth, or both of them to be captured by one or more of the Judgment Day's ghouls. This forces Edge to quit, not for himself, but for the sake of his family. If it's Ray first, maybe he tries to get Dominic to kind of snap out of his sex stupor to save his father. But then seeing his wife in Rhea's clutches is just the last little thing he needs to tip him over. Even if the Glamazon is screaming at him not to quit, Finn Balor's gonna win. Thirdly, there's Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross with Scarlett Bordeaux in a strap match. So this match, I think, needs to involve the most careful, even sensitive booking that there is, because both these gents, despite being incredible in a semi-shallow SmackDown roster, are in something of precarious positions. Drew literally just lost in this past pay-per-view, Clash at the Castle. Solo Sikoa aside, the records will show that he lost to Roman Reigns. I'm not convinced, as others may be, that Drew's place is Teflon enough to handle yet another loss. He was feuding with Corbin and Madcap Moss not even a year ago. However, considering that cringy first main roster run for Karrion Kross, there are few returns that need a stronger showing more than his. And once again, Triple H has given us the fuel for the most thoughtful booking fire with the stipulation and the characters. It's a strap match. So all you have to do is have Drew dominate most of the match, then get Karrion to turn the tables just enough to tie him up in a corner. And then they did something of a modification of this with the Go Home Smackdown angle where they're kind of linked together and he's jamming him against the ring post. But once you get him tied up, he and Scarlett Bordeaux can go to work in all sorts of torturesome and horrific ways. Tables, Iron Maidens, those tongue puller thingies, sledgehammers, pigeons. Did I say pigeons? Hey, they're kind of disturbing, especially in Home Alone 2. So yeah, pigeons until the SmackDown Warrior is primed for the cross jacket. Karrion Kross wins via shenanigans and pigeons. So the second of our tormenting title fights, there's Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair versus Damage Control Alt Deletes Bayley in a championship ladder match. People are still complaining about Io Sky and Dakota Kai not getting the women's tag team championships fast enough. I don't know if the world can handle another Karen cosplay not getting her way quickly enough. WWE is just as much about messages, images, symbols as they are about stories, and that fact alone worries me. Yes, I know Bayley's Latina, but what I say, symbols, images, it's the look. I think they'll want to put the title on Bayley, but number one, Extreme Rules is not a big enough event, and two, I don't know if Bayley's ready for that level of exertion yet. Unless she's going to have a Dean Ambrose U.S. Championship type reign in which she more clutches the belt and tries not to have title defenses. But for now, the Raw Women's Championship is better served remaining in Belair's hands. And Creative knows it, so I think she retains for now. In the penultimate Ultimate Throwdown, we have the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch versus Imperium, Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, and Giovanni Vinci. This is a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. Kind of makes you wonder what the newfangled Donnybrook matches might look like. I've seen some people place the two shows together, the Go Home Smackdown and Extreme Rules today. It favored a set of contrasting results. If Gunther retains on SmackDown, Brawling Brutes win the Premium Live event. Or if Sheamus took the IC belt, Imperium takes the Faction War. Initially, I was halted between two opinions. I didn't know if Sheamus would lose on SmackDown and then the Brawling Brutes would win on Extreme Rules, justifying a third match, especially if Sheamus actually pinned Gunther, or if just for the sake of the swerve, they had the Brawling Brutes win both. But then the two groups just keep fighting past the bell, which would set up an ever crazier set of 6-man stips until you get them at WrestleMania in a triple I Quit match in a fight pit surrounded by Punjabi prisoners and exploding barbed wire. Not certain. But ultimately, since we had this kind of screwy, stupid finish that was non-conclusive in a way, Gunther is pushed to cheat to win, which adds another heel dynamic to his character, which is quite nice. He's not the honorable heel anymore. He's just over the edge. I think the potential exists for something far more interesting to happen. I say that now there's going to be a new stipulation to this match. If the Brawling Brutes win, Sheamus will earn one more title shot for the IC Championship. One more. But if Imperium wins, Sheamus can never challenge for the Intercontinental Championship as long as Gunther is champion. That means the Brawling Brutes are going to have to win here, setting up a third and final IC Championship match at either Crown Jewel or Survivor Series. I say Survivor Series is better. Then you have Sheamus win the IC Championship at Survivor Series in kind of that perfect crowning glory moment in which he becomes Ultimate Grand Slam champion. Before we get to what will probably be the main event, let's settle a question lots of folks have been wondering about. Will the White Rabbit make mincemeat of the bountiful clover that is Extreme Rules 2022 brutality? Might have gotten a little carried away there. I'll start with who it may be. And you know what? Might be Bright. All of the clues fit with his more mysterious, cryptic aesthetic, the location with Wyndham in it, just all those things. Seeing as how Karrion Kross is already here, I don't think the argument is as strong for him unless he's about to debut a stable of some kind. Honestly, having a cottontail and Clue, I've got it. Somebody, a WWE superstar, was a particularly monstrous fan of Eminem back in the day. And Eminem's name in 8 Mile, a movie about a white rapper in a black hip-hop world, was B Rabbit. Rabbit, white, B, rabbit, rabbit, white, B rabbit. You guessed it. The White Rabbit is Braun Strowman. Crack that case wide open. You're welcome. But whoever it might be, will they be there? I don't think so. It feels like a good time in terms of fan readiness, but I don't think Triple H is about to pull the trigger just yet. I think he's going to get a little bit more concrete with the teases first, and that's the October 8th thing that we saw on Smackdown last night. We're going to start to get a little bit more, but not the actual White Rabbit showing up yet. That's as far as I think it's going to go with the White Rabbit trail. So last, we have the Rivalry Rival rousing Who's More Brutal contest. Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins in a fight pit match with Daniel Cormier as special guest referee. Matt Riddle was like a smoky little bulldog. He would not let Monday Night Rollins go. And our enjoyment is all the better for it. Both Riddle and Rollins are incredible performers in and out of the ring, so this match is going to take the night no matter where it is on the card. While I'm not sure how well served the story is for bringing Cormier in, that's not really the point of his being here. He's eventually going to start wrestling, so this gets him into that world. But what is his exact involvement in this match? If Cormier is such a huge Seth Rollins fan and Riddle's counting on him to favor him as an MMA guy, maybe Cormier turns on Riddle and causes Seth Rollins to win. And that does a couple things. Number one, it sets Cormier up squarely as a heel. And if all the rumors about he and Lesnar wanting to tangle are true, then that's perfect. Brock Lesnar is as babyface as he's ever been. But more immediately, that allows Riddle the opportunity to distract Rollins in his U.S. Championship match against Bobby Lashley on Raw this coming week. Now, I don't know if that little piece of vengeance leads to Lashley retaining or Riddle's interference kind of backfiring on him throwing him into a feud with Lashley. But I hope it's not that second one. One, because I don't want Lashley to lose yet. And two, because he and Riddle already had a bunch of matches before Lashley even became world champion. They were even on the same show. So I don't have any interest in seeing more of them right now. But anyhow, Rollins wins with assistance from the special guest referee. What are your thoughts? Who crushes all? What championships change hands? Is the White Rabbit coming? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and tap that bell icon to make sure you get notifications for when new videos come out. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.